Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Live's favorite is podcast, favorite is channel, favorite is everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also, follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at Glen Rockney for Glenn, and of course, pandasups.com. Discount code TDL for 35% off. My bad, guys. It's changed to 25% off. So I got to make sure I change that. 25% off pandasups.com. All right. So it is Friday Night Live. We are doing our first 3-round mock draft, which is going to be 4 picks because the Raiders have 2 third-round picks. Thank you, Devontae Adams, for that extra third-round pick. Raiders definitely need it. So we're going to be doing that today. And of course, talking whatever questions you guys have that we can discuss, because there's really nothing else really going on. Chip Kelly was hired, of course, but as we kind of talked about that like at least 800 times this week. So Chip Kelly was hired. He's a new OC, had a press conference. And other than that, there's some other coaches have been hired, but nothing crazy at this point. So how are you feeling, Glenn? How are you feeling?
Oh, good. I'm I gotta give a shout out to new running backs coach from Notre Dame too. So shout out, bringing him up. You go to the Irish sports blogs, they're not real happy about losing him, and it's been interesting though, because they've been hiring a couple guys from the kind of collegiate ranks, guys that have. So there's a real good mix of like college and pro. I've been really happy about not getting the Seattle band back together, which makes it bode well for maybe not signing Russell Wilson this offseason. So that's to me, because they would have been Darrell Bevell if it and they would have talked to Richard Sherman out of retirement, like all of these. I'm glad that didn't happen. Like when Gruden took over, you get Jason Witten comes back, and you're like, oh, okay, great. They're moving forward. It's nice.
I like the coaching staff that he's bringing, especially on offense. I think offense is where we're seeing all the college guys, right? I think on defense is still kind of a little bit, I would say, more NFL guys. Even the DB coach they hired, I think, recently.
Oh, can't hear you. There you go. You're good.
We're good? Okay. Yeah. So even the DB coach they hired recently, I think he was from the NFL too as well. I forgot what NFL team he was from, but it feels like defense has been all NFL, but the offense has been mostly college. You got his son is the O-line coach, right? Run game coordinator, Chip Kelly, right? You talk about they just hired a running back coach from Notre Dame, and I kind of feel like that is the vibe here. Is on offense we're going to be a little bit more innovative and then defense we're going to try to keep the try to keep the what I would say the continuity of what they've been doing before by keeping Patrick Graham, because that is a big deal too, because these guys don't have to change systems or anything like that. So I really like that idea of what he's doing over there. So that's the interesting part, because it's like offense is really college, defense is NFL.
Yeah, no, it's quite interesting. I like Joe Woods, so I like bringing Joe Woods, and former Saints defensive coordinator. Definitely a lot of experience in the leagues. I think he was Denver's DC at one time. I can't remember. He's been around the league. I like doing that, and I think it's going to be interesting in free agency what they're going to be able to do, because they are bringing in a lot of different guys from a bunch of different places. So it's not like you can just be like, well, remember when Reggie McKenzie got hired and we just became the Packers? The Packers retirement home, and so it was kind of, okay, Packers got rid of somebody, well, I guess they're going to coach here now, and it's a mystery, it's a real mystery of what they're going to do, but I think in a good way, because I like the competent people at the helm.
I like having the coaching staff that they built here. I think it's a good coaching staff. There's a lot of guys who could take over as head coach too, if Pete Carroll decides to step away or anything like that, or if that becomes a situation, there's a lot of guys who can step in and become the head coach. So I feel like they're going to hire a couple of more guys here and see what they do there. But I do like the coaching staff so far, for sure.
Sure. No, it's very, like I said, it's just, I love the combination of people. It's like Chip. If it was Chip, I said this on the reaction. But if it was Chip Kelly and like a young defensive head coach, I'd be like, Chip's gonna like overstep his boundaries. But you're not overstepping Pete Carroll. So Chip, and if you heard Chip Kelly's press conference, where he basically said like nobody ever. My wife commented saying, "Oh, I've never seen you so happy," because he was just coaching offense. And, like he really seems like dialed in and being able to kind of not get as stressed out as running an entire team, because we got people to do that. So I am really interested to see how this plays out. And I think I agree with what you said on your breakdown. I think they're going to surprise a lot of teams early, and there's going to be a lot of teams that just don't know what to do to stop them early. And then we might run into some, times where we have to adjust.
Yeah. It's saying they can't hear us. You're muted. I think we're good.
Say that, yeah, if we can't, because I that's interesting. My volume is good.
I hear you, bro. So
yeah,
I think we're good. I think we're right. So with what I was gonna say. So they talk about the coaches. The coaches are coming in. I think Max Crosby's happy now, right?
We think. Whenever anybody talks to Kay Adams, it's rumor mill time, though. The other day he goes on, and everybody, he's like, I want to win. And then he said, so I think he's happy. I think he's about to get paid. But everybody, just like all my Niner friends are like, I can't wait till you guys trade Max Crosby to us. I'm like, what clip are you reacting to? I hadn't even seen the clip yet. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
Gosh. Yeah. I mean, Max seems happy. So, Max is happy about that. I think he's about to get paid too. I think they're going to give him
a huge bonus right there. I think a lot of guys on the defense are going to get paid. Why do you keep the continuity on there if you're not going to pay the guys?
Exactly. I think they're going to bring back Morik. I think they're going to try to bring back Hobbs, especially Hobbs. I think Hobbs is like Pete Carroll dreams of a slot corner like him that can tackle and play the run like that. So that is Pete Carroll's type of guy. So we'll see there, but I really do think that the coaching staff is kind of built for them to kind of keep the continuity on defense, right? And then get innovative on offense. So that's going to be the interesting part to me. What they do on offense and the quarterback they pick, the running backs they pick, do they go get a wide receiver? Who do they pay for all that money for? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be super interesting to see what they do on offense. And that's what I'm kind of excited about, because that's what Chip Kelly brings. I mean, it's a little bit of that element of, that college style of football, right? Of course, what I liked about his press conference, he talked about how he has to get used to the hashes are smaller. So we'll see how that adjustment is for him. But I really do. I am excited about what they're going to do on offense, because like what you brought up when I talked about on the previous show is that they're going to catch you off guard at first. I mean, whoever the quarterback is, they're going to cook for a minute, and then it all depends how the NFL catches up with them and how Chip Kelly adjusts from there. But he's going to catch them off guard, because they're not going to have any idea what he's going to do early on. And I think the Raiders are going to be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree.
Yeah. All right. So Chip Kelly is the hire. I mean, I really didn't have anything else to talk about, man. I feel like we're just going to.
No, I think there's plenty of draft stuff. I mean, there's fans asking about what free agents they want to keep. And I think one thing we'll have to do when we talk about our mock draft is kind of like, you're drafting, what was our offseason like with your mock draft?
Yeah.
Like contextualizing it, because people always have that question. Well, if you didn't draft a quarterback in the first round, if that was the case, what did you do at quarterback? So we'll have to do that. But as far I see, there's a question about free agents there. And to me, I think on defense, largely, I think there's going to be a choice to in terms of, are you going to bring back a Kayvon Chason and Malcolm Kuntz while you have Tyree Wilson? Are you going to bring back? I mean, Tyree's under contract, but are all three of those guys going to be part of it? But I think Merrick's going to get paid a lot. They're talking about top of the league, and why wouldn't the Raiders do it? And I just think you're going to, if you kept Patrick Graham, you basically are saying we're paying a lot of these guys, unless there's just one place, an obvious upgrade.
Exactly. I agree with that. Well, I mean, we'll see though. But I still think they'll bring in another safety. But I think they're going to keep some of these guys. So some early questions. Any strong feelings from the award ceremony?
What was the big thing? Was Josh and Lamar was kind of the big but we knew Brock was going to lose to Jaden Daniels. I mean, look, Jaden Daniels had an incredible rookie season. I mean, it was and he's a quarterback and his team was playing in the playoffs. Brock, did you see who the one person to vote Brock Bowers first place was?
Sam Monson,
yeah. Hey, shout out, because he's like the biggest hater of all time. So like of the Raiders. So I was like, hey, shout out. But I think those were the really only two things I thought. I don't really watch that stuff. So
I didn't really watch it either. Shout out Eric Allen making the Hall of Fame. Shout out Eric Allen.
Big time shout out. Yeah.
Shout out Eric Allen. But yeah, I mean, the big one is the MVP, Josh Allen winning MVP over Lamar Jackson, which, I can see why people are upset that Josh Allen won, but MVP always goes to the quarterback with the best record.
Yeah.
Right. It's not really about how you play or how you set the standard, whatever. There's always a quarterback with the best record who has good numbers. Yeah. So like Lamar Jackson, they were the best team of football last year, the Ravens. And Lamar Jackson did not have as good a year as he did this year. But, but he was still the best. They went 14-3. They're the best team in the AFC. They had home field advantage. Because if you go by stats, Brock Purdy should have won MVP last year. If you want to go by like stats, like the people are trying to do this year, then Brock Purdy wins MVP. But Brock Purdy didn't win MVP because Lamar Jackson had a great year and was on the best team in football. So I think it's the same way with Josh Allen. I mean, this probably pissed some people off, but it's the reason why Cam Newton beat Carson Palmer out. It's the reason why, like, there's so many MVPs that were flipped towards the quarterback on the best football team. So, that's the way it is. I'm not tripping off that. Somebody said Mahomes is the best record though, but he didn't have an MVP season.
No, you have to have like a legit great number. It's not just the best. I get what you were saying and how that can be misconstrued at Mahomes winning the MVP, but also Mahomes is probably going to be in Kobe territory. Remember when Kobe wasn't allowed to win MVPs for a couple of years when it was like Steve Nash and and all that. Like after a while, like they're not going to give you the MVP every season. It's just not going to happen. It's a narrative based. Like these award things. I know a lot of people wanted Brock to win. I think we all knew he wasn't going to, but damn, dude, Brock had 1,200 yards, man. Like I'm just so excited by him.
Yeah, I am too, man. I'm super happy with that. Yeah, Jay Daniels was even before that, he led the Commanders to the playoffs. So,
Yeah, hey, I mean, one day we can have Brock Bowers lead, be a big part of the Raiders with Chip Kelly calling plays and whoever at quarterback in the playoffs.
Yeah. Somebody said, how do you give the MVP to Nash over Shaq? It's the same reason. Nash was on the best. They won 60 games.
And Nash was cold, dude. People always like use that as like a way to hate on that. Nash was a killer back then, man. Yeah.
Nash was dope, man.
Yeah. Nash and Amari, man. That and Sean Marion. Oh, God. Love those teams.
Yeah. Some bad teams. Me and Pharaoh NFL have had you on. Love the show. How do you feel about Kyle Trask? Drafted with the Bucks. It was Brady's backup. Do we want a Kyle Trask tryout? Matt brought it up too. Matt's brought it up a couple times. I just don't know if I want to do it to Kyle Trask tryout as a starter. Or do you want to be that team? That's the thing with Kyle Trask. Like he hasn't played. We don't know if he's good or if he's not. You know what I mean? That's
and I think a better line of, I know he was only there for a year, but like a better way for Kyle Trask to have a job is to follow his old offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen, if Liam Cohen likes him, or Dave Canales, those guys, he could go back up there, be Bryce Young's backup or be, Trevor Lawrence's backup in Jacksonville. I don't know that it's Spytek. Yeah, I drafted him, but it's like, how many games did he play? It's not like it's not like Spytek was like, yeah, he won us a big game down the stretch. No, there's really not everybody you draft is somebody you like. It's not always what happens.
Yeah, man.
There was a question about Benjamin Morrison. I saw somebody from
our new fan here, BBW enjoyer.
Yeah, he said we were muted earlier. Maybe he had the wrong thing volume playing. Maybe he was enjoying some BBWs. Didn't realize he turned the volume down on YouTube. Everyone knows that move. But Benjamin Morrison, he missed most of the year. Marcus, you were wrong about that. I've listened to you on my note when you were telling me to stop watching. You're like, is that Benjamin Morrison? Hasn't played since the Stanford game.
Okay.
The thing about Benjamin Morrison is that he does these three things are true, and you have to decide if the physicals matter with you, because he's hurt, he's short, but he can cover his ass off.
Yeah.
So do you care about size at corner? And Pete Carroll's our coach, so yes, you do care about size at corner. But he is exceptional. I mean, they played Ohio State. Notre Dame played Ohio State last season, went down to the wire, and he shut down Marvin Harrison. They didn't do anything with Marvin Harrison all game. He is exceptional. He also can't tackle. That's the problem. And there's an argument to be made that Notre Dame's defense, it didn't get better, but they played a lot of teams that like to run the ball, like Penn State and stuff. And they had corners that were better tacklers. You know, Ryan Clark's son is really good from the slot corner. Christian Gray's a really good tackler. Morrison, he's going to have to go to a team where they're like, you're just covering players. And if they run at you, they run at you and stuff. And I just don't know if that's a fit with what the Raiders want to do.
It is not a fit.
Okay, confirmed, yeah.
It is not a fit at all. It is not a fit at all. So, yeah, because Pete Carroll with a corner that can't tackle is just not going to work.
And a short one.
A short guy who can't tackle.
He's 5'10". Yeah, he's an exceptional player, though. I'm just saying, like a team like the Rams that doesn't care about stuff like that. Team like the Lions, you know, as Amik Roberts. I mean, this guy is good. It's just I don't think the Raiders are going to have him. I just don't think the Raiders are going to draft him.
Yeah, that was no. I don't think so either. To be honest, thoughts on Jacobs' contract talk? How much loyalty should an organization have towards? I mean, Tom Telesco is a analytical guy. He was
I do wish they had him right now, though. Like right now, I do. Last year, I was trying to let him walk, but if I knew Pete Carroll was coming in with Chip Kelly, I'd be like, you know, you do wish you had him for, you know, at least that talk. But who knows if he would have enjoyed being here last year, given the circumstances.
All right. Get some more questions. Could you talk with which free agents we keep?
Yeah, I have no clue about the cap. It says how much cap have you left. No idea what the money these guys are going to get. Like I said, Merrick, Hobbs, Adam Butler. You see what Adam Butler, he had a great season last year. So you have to decide, like, is some team going to pay Adam Butler double-digit million to be a defensive tackle? I don't know if they are, and I don't know if the Raiders should, if that's the case. I think it especially depends on if you want to take like a Mason Graham earlier in the draft or something. But I definitely would like to see Kuntz, depending on what his market can't be that crazy right now, because he was about to have his breakout year. It's the battles, I think, to me, is between Kuntz and Chase on who gets paid.
Okay. The Raiders have $107 million.
It's a lot. And Minshew, they could cut Minshew after June 1st. And save a lot of money too, I think.
So I mean, they really could go get anything they want at this point. I mean, they have the money to pay anybody. They could pay Max. They could pay a quarterback. They could pay.
Oh yeah.
If they trade for Stafford or something, they could pay Stafford. They could pay. They really could do whatever the hell they want with all that money. To be honest.
Yeah, the problem is like a lot of the stuff they need isn't really necessarily the strongest class, you know, in terms of quarterback, wide receiver. Those are two I'd like to spend on, and it's just not really the guys there, I think.
So, free agent quarterback for Chip.
Why don't we save that for my side for the draft? Because that is obviously going to be addressed one way or another in both of our drafts. So why don't we save that? Because I have a plan.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. Everybody wants to know. Darnold. Did you guys see Kevin O'Connell say that they're? Yeah. I mean, Darnold's gonna hit the market.
So they're not going to franchise him, huh? That's interesting.
No, he's gonna hit the market, man.
I think from their perspective, it'd be better to franchise him, but yeah, I don't know.
No, they basically said we don't want him back. Yeah. But sure. I mean, if he comes back for like $8 million again,
that's not happening. Not happening. Yeah. So, yeah.
Kevin O'Connell's like, go get your money, bro.
What'll be interesting is if a team like the Titans sign Sam Darnold. Like, what if the Titans like truly are just like, if they're just not in love with Cam Ward and they sign Sam Darnold, then the draft becomes really interesting.
Yeah, you're gonna have to answer all these quarterback questions, man, because they're talking about Daniel Jones. We'll get.
Well, we're gonna. I mean, like I said, those will come up. So yeah, for sure.
All right, Siobhan Ravel falls to the second. He's a corner from
came off an injury. Yeah, coming off an injury.
Yeah, he came from East Carolina. But would he go into the second to the Raiders? Was there a chance he would fall there? I would say yes, but he is a Pete Carroll corner. Is that what people are talking about him?
Yes, he is. He's a big, long corner. Can run. I mean, depends on the medical. Like it just depends on medical and recovery time. But I think those teams in the late first, those playoff teams, man, it's tough to get past him. But past those guys when there's a good corner available that you don't have to play right away. You know, you can let him recover. Mm-hmm.
This guy's arms are freaky. He's 32 inches.
Good. There's a few guys in this draft.
33. Good Lord.
There's a few guys in this draft that have. Ravel is a sneaky like reach pick for the Raiders. I'll say that much too. Like if he's healthy and I don't know what he's going to be doing at the combine. I want to say he got hurt in the middle of the season or towards the end. I thought it was later in the season. I could be wrong there. But if he's like working out, and I think he should have transferred. What I like about him. And I'm not anti-transfer portal. He didn't transfer. I think a lot of teams like that. A lot of old school NFL coaches are going to be like, you stayed with East Carolina. Like we like that. You wanted to stay with your coach who recruited you and stuff. And I could see them being really in on Siobhan Ravel. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, he would be the type of guy they would take.
Sneaky reach where people go, who, you know, like and if they trade back, that's another thing too. Trading back, getting some pick. We don't know what Spytech does in the draft. I'm used to like thinking they won't trade back, but that's because we had Tom Telesco.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the table now. So yeah.
All right. A couple more questions here. Do we start the year with AOC at QB? I don't think so.
Hey man, I don't think so. But like, what if like? You never know. I mean, like I said, this Chip Kelly's gone into seasons with, you know, Nick Foles and guys like that, you know.
That is the ultimate D plan.
Yeah, I agree. It's if they just don't find anything and they don't want to pay Sam Darnold, you know. I don't think they want to do 2 years in a row of that though.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about that, man. That would be crazy. Maybe, but I don't know. So people in this Hendon Hooker. I mean, I like Joe Milton. I mean, if they got Malik Willis, it wouldn't bother me either. But
no, Joe Milton signed me up. I don't know what he's going to garner, but I'd go about as high as a third rounder. I don't know if I'd do the second round for him, but the third round.
Okay. All right. We'll get a couple more questions and we'll start to get to this, talk about our mock drafts here. So what round does the safety from Watts go?
Oh, Notre Dame safety, Xavier Watts, number 0. He's I would say he's really interesting because I've watched every game he's ever played. He's so instinctive. He's not going to get past the playoff teams like those last like 6 or 7 picks in the draft. Somebody's going to love him there. He's like a total Kansas City Chief pick, sadly, to me. I don't know how athletic he's going to be because he's really just instinctive and just in the right place. Really, like you can tell he studies really hard and he's a playmaker. He has good hands. When he gets near the ball, he catches the ball. Big interception against Texas A&M early in the year. I'm a huge fan. If he does slip to the second round, and depending on what the Raiders do at safety in free agency, definitely on my board.
Okay. I look at some of the Bleacher Report stuff. They got him as a first round pick.
Yeah. He's kind of that fringe. I would say he's in a lot of people's top 40. I would say I don't think he's outside anyone's top 40, and I've seen some people have him in the 20s.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad pick though. Zach Wilson, Trey, you guys just throwing quarterbacks out.
Yeah, we're not there yet, guys. Right now, it's dreaming. We're dreaming big now, guys. This is what happens in February. We do Zach Wilson realism around like May and June. Yeah, you know, Zach, we need that arm, man. You know, like remember his pro day? Like that's when you start doing that when your team signs him. Right now, let's dream big.
Yeah. All right. Kyler's like people want all the others.
Kyler and Chip Kelly is interesting, though. I will say, Kyler and Chip Kelly is interesting, but he's making a lot of money, man.
Dart was recruited by Kelly when he was at USC.
Yeah, that is interesting. Marcus's nightmare scenario, getting some legs here.
It just depends where you take him.
Yeah,
that's all it is with me.
Yeah,
man. I don't know. It's just a film. Like we could talk about Dart, and I know a lot of people like Dart because they go on YouTube and they watch the highlights. And I'm sure his highlights of his deep passes are amazing. I bet if you go watch his little Mississippi State, Jackson Dart highlights, because that's what I really hate that when people tell me check the film, or somebody's like, oh, he's my QB3 from the film. Like, bro, you've been watching his YouTube highlights, and he has some great deep throws.
Yeah, they're playing Fort Minor, Linkin Park instrumentals while he's throwing and stuff. He's like, yeah, I watched the film. Yeah.
Remember the name.
Yeah. He started, 20% skill starts throwing, like that's what people are like. I was watching the tape, dude. I was grinding that Jackson Dart tape. His pro comp to me is Zach Wilson, by the way.
Yeah, really? Yeah.
He can make that throw where he's like off his off foot, throws it on the sideline perfectly, and then you're just like, oh. Then I watched, his Florida game where he throws 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter, has no clue what's happening. And you're like, oh boy.
Yeah, okay, because with Jackson, Jackson Dart reminds me of is Case Keenum. That's why I'm not a.
Yeah, well, Case, yeah. Case is better than Zach Wilson. Yeah,
man. Yeah. All right. So let's get to my draft.
Let's do it, man. I'm excited.
How long it's going to take, and we're going to do this and we'll get you guys questions. I'm going to be saving your questions here. I got a lot of quarterback questions here, so I'm trying to save all your guys' questions. We're going to get to our mock draft. We're just going to get to it.
And I went realistic, by the way. I didn't do the Cam Ward was there at 6. Abdul Carter was there. No. I went realistic. Like you can't, when you do these mock draft simulators, people are like, it turns out that, Kelvin Banks was there in the second round. No, like, you gotta be realistic.
I used the PFF mock draft simulator, but I changed my number 6 pick. I was like, I don't.
I hear you.
Yeah, I changed it because. Yeah.
They only I did PFN and PFF, and I liked my PFF one more. So
yeah. PFN has like a playoff predictor for 2025, and it's like the same teams.
Yeah.
For this year. Like,
cutting edge analytics. I can't understand why subscriptions are going down. Yeah.
Wow. So you're telling me using the same rosters from the year before, and then all those teams make the playoffs again? What? Thing you made. That was amazing. What a predictor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So stunning.
I saw that shit on Twitter.
Yeah.
I was like, what the
and
fuck?
Free agency. It's like, who even cares right now? Who's even thinking about that right now?
Free agency, pre-draft. Like, it's the same team. Like, people are going to leave these teams, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was fucking funny. All right. So we're doing a 3-round mock draft. Of course, we got 4 picks each, basically, here. And then we're going to deep dive into all these picks and, kind of talk about them and why we picked these guys. So let's talk about our what was our method here? What was your method, Glenn? What
was my Raider off season like?
Yes. What was your method?
So we signed Justin Fields in free agency. We signed Justin Fields.
Okay.
I've heard you could get about $15 million a year. They said we did a 2-year deal. We did a kind of a load up the guarantees on the first year, and we waited a little bit. We didn't do the Gardner Minshew sign him day one. We waited for Justin Fields to come in, and Justin Fields is fired up. Justin Fields is ready to play for Chip Kelly. We signed offensive line in free agency because this offensive line is young and actually could use a little veteran depth, perhaps an upgrade at the guard position. So that's where the money was spent largely enough. And yeah, I mean, that's essentially where we're at. Brought back a lot of the same guys on defense, but the big splash signings were like offensive line, but big guard in there, and maybe we signed DJ Reed or something. But I'm just going to tell you right now, the quarterback. Everybody, whenever you make a pick, people go, "Who's the quarterback?" My quarterback is Justin Fields right now.
Okay. All right. So the quarterback's Justin Fields going into the season. So it's going to be Aiden O'Connell versus Justin Fields for the job.
I haven't gotten that far because it might be Gardner Minshew. No, I'm kidding. No, it might. Or did I draft somebody? Or did I? Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. You'll never know.
See, the thing with Justin Fields, I think Chip Kelly might cook with Justin Fields.
I think so too.
He might. See, the thing is with Fields though is because Chip Kelly, I talked about on the breakdown. He's like designed for like a running pocket passer who would take a lot of checkdowns instead of just running. Like you take all those checkdowns and those type of things instead of just running. And that would be my thing with Justin Fields and Chip Kelly is does he take that easy ass completion that Chip Kelly's giving you? Like Chip Kelly's going to give you an easy completion. Like if you're a check down artist, you could have like a 72% completion percentage with Chip Kelly. And that's the thing. But like the running game, the running game would be crazy.
Crazy. Short yardage all day. Short yardage situations, we're not worried about a lot of those. And is it perfect? I don't know. I don't know. But I just think, you know, he can get the ball downfield to Trey Tucker. I would think we'd be frustrating. He's not my quarterback of the future unless he lights it up. And if he lights it up, he might be. Then we solve the problem. But I think he's realistically, who are you bringing in? Are you paying Sam Darnold $40 million? I think the Raiders are going to attempt to. I think they might. I think they're going to try to sign Sam Darnold. But who knows? Justin Fields, I think for bang for your buck's gonna do that. And you basically are looking for like a 2-year plan plus a developmental or 2026 class. So you want to have a guy that gets you there where you can still compete. And I think he fits really well in this offense.
Okay. All right. So my vision was a little different. So my vision is that they brought in like a veteran quarterback, like a Marcus Mariota type.
Okay.
Like a Marcus Mariota type, you know, just in case they can't get a quarterback doesn't fall to them. But they also are, you know, still want to target one in the draft. And then, of course, my vision was also that they haven't really found the corner that they really like. I mean, they have corners there, but they want to get some more corners and just kind of build the defense a little bit through the draft. So that was my vision.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was how I looked at it. But yeah, because, you know, cause that's what I'm saying. Because let's say they picked up Marcus Mariota or somebody like that. Because, you know, Mariota does fit what Chip Kelly likes to do, right? I wouldn't say he checks down a lot, but he is a guy that could fit what he wants to do, and then kind of give them some options in the draft too as well to kind of find some guys on a starter. And then if they don't find him, Hinton O'Connell can battle it out or whatever happens. I don't know what they do with the rest of the quarterback room, but that's kind of how I was looking at it. I was looking at it that way.
Okay.
All right. So people, Minshew can start packing up the van.
Yeah, why do people hate Fields that much in the I mean, I'm not even saying he's like incredible. I just mean, you know, Pittsburgh had a winning record when he started last year. It's not like he came in there. He wasn't terrible, you know. And yeah. I to be honest, I think he towards the end of the year could have won a few games for the Steelers, like after Russ kind of stopped cooking. But yeah. I think that's the risk you take with where they're at right now. If you ask me, would I rather have Sam Darnold for $40 million or Justin Fields for 15? I would take Fields at this point in this offense.
Yeah, in this offense, right?
Yeah.
The way this offense works, because you got to think if they have Justin Fields in this offense and they draft a running back that is really effective, I mean, they're going to be able to run the hell out of the ball, which Chip Kelly loves to do, and which Pete Carroll loves. That's why he brought in Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
I mean, we all talk about, like, you know, Chip Kelly and where he comes from in college, but what he did best in college was run the football. And that's why you would want Justin Fields in it. But, you know, I see people talk about how I broke down his Bears tape and it was bad. But that was kind of Luke Getsy trying to make him feel people.
And how did Caleb Williams look last year for the Bears too? And why were they scrambling everyone's played bad quarterback for the Bears recently. Everyone's had their turn to do it. So, you know, I thought he looked okay with the Steelers. And he's young still, very young still. And we're seeing a lot of people, you know, we're seeing Darnold, we're seeing these Baker Mayfield, these guys, we're starting to give up on guys too early. And a lot of smart teams are capitalizing on that and getting them into better systems. And I know I'm saying, you know, Raiders, it's not like we're, you know, some winning franchise, but I think we got a lot of good stuff going for us right now. And I think that's a pretty good edge in the market that a lot of teams have been exploiting lately, is these teams that ask these guys to be saviors. And that wasn't the case. And then you bring him into a pretty good system where they kind of have pressure off him. In Vegas, he's not going to have pressure on him, you know? And I just, again, is the answer? No, you're going to see my mock draft. I might draft the answer.
All right. Let's see other questions here. So let's get into it. Glenn, let's get into it. Let's get to your first pick of the mock draft here. Let me pull it up. All right. So we're ready. So go ahead. Introduce your first pick here.
Okay, so my first pick of the draft, 6th overall pick, I went with a nice, you know, corner out of Michigan, Will Johnson. And now Daniel Jeremiah, all these other people talking about he could slip to 15 because he might not run very fast. Guess who doesn't care how fast corners run? Pete Carroll. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Can they tackle? Can they turn the ball over? Are they physical? Are they tall? And do they love football? Will Johnson checks all those boxes. You're going to have, you could sign DJ Reed in the offseason if you wanted to, Charvarius Ward if you want, or you could also say, I love this Jacorian Bennett guy. And then you have Hobbs in the slot. I think this is a really good spot for him. And Ravel is interesting. We'll have to watch out for the Ravel hype. But I think Will Johnson, especially John Spytek, Michigan guy, Brady, Michigan guy, I think this would be a really good first pick for them.
Yeah, I'm a big Will Johnson fan. I really like what Will Johnson brings to the table. It's really what with Will Johnson that I know people are worried about is the speed.
Yeah.
Right. That's the speed type of thing. And it makes sense why that plays a big part in playing corner because there's a lot of fast guys outside, right? But I mean, if you're good enough a corner, I mean, because Rich Sherman wasn't very fast. And I hate to compare guys to Rich Sherman because Rich Sherman's a 5th round pick, so it's he kind of overachieved because he was with the coach that we have right now, right? It's kind of the reason why he overachieved, and he fit that system of what they like and what kind of corner they like. So I do like what Will Johnson brings to the table from a length, size perspective. I mean, he's known as a good corner. He does a good job of just being steady, has great technique, all those type of things. Sometimes he can be a little handsy, a little bit because I was watching him a couple times here, but that could change. And also Pete Carroll likes it anyways.
Yeah, and I did see a lot. I saw Jason in the comments is saying if Tet McMillan from Arizona is there, that was my choice between the two. I was like, either one is fine with me because McMillan, you're taking a wide receiver class that isn't that good and getting the top end of it, which I like doing in the draft, overdrafting maybe the best guy in a weak class. Plus, you'd have a basketball team on offense, and that's kind of fun, especially when you don't really have a very good quarterback. That maybe the most accurate quarterback in Justin Fields. In my situation, but yeah, I went with Johnson just because it's Pete Carroll, man. So and you talk about the handsiness, that's not going to get Pete Carroll discouraged. To me, that he's going to see Byron Maxwell, Richard Sherman. He's going to see these guys, and 9 interceptions, and Will Johnson is he can go get the ball too. So I really like him.
Yeah, he's a ball hawk too. Yeah. He's a ball hawk, and he's a strong tackler too. So that's why like at 6,
I know what I'm getting. I just know what I'm getting.
It wouldn't shock me if they took him. And the thing is, what if he runs fast?
Or like, to be honest, at that size, 4.5 is fine.
You know what I'm saying?
At that size, he doesn't have to run a 4.3. Yeah,
but what if he runs a 4.4?
Yeah. 4.45, 4.46. Yeah. Then he's, I think he's still there at 6 because of just the way the other guys are. But yeah, it's great. And I saw a thing. Did we sign Hobbs and Merrick in this scenario? Yes, we did.
Yeah.
So we're just adding this new piece to a secondary that has some continuity.
Yeah. Dominique wants to know, is Will healthy?
Well, he wasn't at the end of the year, so we'll find out. But I can only go with what I see now, and he's not dropping boards for health.
Yeah, because that's my thing. Like, the knock for speed really didn't come up until like now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if we're like assuming, because if you watch him on film, like nobody really gets past him. It's not like he's getting beat deep all the time. So the speed thing is just a little weird to me. I that's why I'm like he might go out there and run a 4.6. Everybody's like, oh my God. That type of thing. Like, I didn't know how fast he was at this side. Like, it just doesn't pop off on film. Like, that guy is slow.
Yeah. You know who one of the best drafting teams in the NFL is sneakily, even though they didn't like picks for a while, was the Rams, and they don't go to the combine. McVay and Snead don't go to the combine. They watch film and they see how fast guys are on film. This is what they do. And to me, you're going against in Big Ten. You're going against a lot of teams with guys that are going to be playing on Sundays. It's not a small school guy where you're not sure if it translates. To me, I think he's really good. So I would love it if we left the first round. I'm scared of Sanders a little bit at 6 overall, or even trading up for him. I don't think Ward's going to have a chance there, but yeah, I really just think that Will Johnson's the guy. I think I think it's the thing where everybody, Spy Tech, all of these guys are gonna like it at the same time. Because I don't even think the Tampa corners are that fast, right? During their glory days with Spy Tech,
No.
Carlton Davis, those guys weren't like the fastest guy. Jamel Dean, they were hitters, they were physical.
Yeah. Yeah. Jalen Johnson was a 4 point. Yeah. So Jalen Johnson, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I like that. And if he can run, if he's at 4.5 flat, I feel comfortable. If we start getting into the 4.6, because even wasn't Lassiter slow? Was it Lassiter that was slow?
Kwame Lassiter was
yeah, and he's a good corner. You know what I mean? He's a good corner. Yeah. So it's just like and corners in the first round have gotten better the last few years, if you've noticed. With Stingley and Sauce Gardner, they've gotten. We're not seeing the D Milners like we used to.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I like about Will Johnson too, to me, is that he's clean. Like, I know he's going to be a good player because he tackles. He's played good in coverage. I know somebody said something about Michigan. What was it? So Michigan plays a lot of zone. That might be why he knocked. But like, the Raiders play a lot of zone. So I mean, they are going to play a lot of zone. I mean, part of the reason why Pete Carroll kept Patrick Graham, because he plays a lot of cover 3. People don't talk about that. So I think that with that, the cover 3 mixed in, it will be pretty good. I think it'll work out with Will Johnson. I mean, he's a good player.
Yeah, I guess I'm wrong about Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis. They are fast. I don't know. For some reason, I thought they were a little bit on the slower side, but I'm wrong there. So maybe it is valuable. That's why I take. Not changing my pick though. Will Johnson at 6.
You're gonna change it with that?
Nah, I don't know. Yeah, I like I said, at 6'2", if you're running 4.45 and 4.5, there's no question about your speed mixed with like length and stuff like that. So yeah,
all right.
But
so,
yeah, 4.6 is where you start getting a little leery.
BBW Enjoyer did have a good question. What do you think of Dan Jeremiah having Jahdae Barron going ahead of Will Johnson?
I think some teams really are going to value the stuff that we were just talking about, like the speed, the stuff like that. And I just don't think the Raiders sounds weird saying that, Al Davis, and stuff like that, but we're far past that. It's Pete Carroll's show now. And I think you're drafting for Pete Carroll. I think John Spytek understands that. And you're drafting for Pete Carroll. And I think he fits this. Fits this team, our identity of what we want to do like a glove. So if Daniel Jeremiah has that, then I guarantee you a lot of teams probably do have that same thing, but Will Johnson fits,
No, I pulled up this Bleacher Report scouting report on him, and Bleacher Report says that Barron lacks elite long speed. He didn't say that about Will Johnson. So I gotta watch these guys.
Yeah, for sure.
More deep dive into this, but Will Campbell at 6. I mean, that's when the Raiders decided to get a tackle. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's get to my pick here. And I just went with this pick because I feel like this is gonna happen, and I maybe it was just Marcus just reaching and thinking like this isn't gonna happen, but I did it. I went Shedeur Sanders.
Okay, I'm glad you did. This is a good exercise to one person takes a quarterback, the other person doesn't first.
So I went Shedeur Sanders at 6 because I mean, I feel like every mock draft that I've seen lately has had him at 6, right? So maybe something is happening there with Shedeur Sanders at 6. But I think he has a chance to be there just because, how the NFL is going to feel about Cam Ward and how they feel about him. I really feel like that this is going to be a chance that he's going to be there. But the thing is, if he is there, is the reason why I think they pick him is because of Tom Brady, and Brady loves this guy.
Would you be discouraged? Would you be discouraged that maybe like there's too much influence if that's the case? For Brady,
I wouldn't be discouraged, but I would say, I'm not discouraged because they have Chip Kelly. And I think with Chip Kelly, would make it work. Chip Kelly is smart enough to build around Sanders' skill set. He's smart enough to not make him do things like somebody said he can't throw the out. Like, he wouldn't make him throw a deep out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to throw a deep out with Shedeur Sanders. That's stupid, right? I'm going to try to, get what I can get out of him, make the right throw, make the, you know what I'm saying, get him the right look. And I think the Raiders have the wide receivers where if you can get Shedeur Sanders to set his damn feet and, you know, play quarterback and kind of look like he did as a junior. Because I don't know. It's weird with Shedeur Sanders' film. Because if you go back to his junior film, like last year, like the things that I didn't like about him, like this year, he didn't do as a junior. So like if you watch his film as a junior, like against ASU, like you see really good mechanics, you see like all these things you really like. And I felt like this year, like I don't know if he just felt like because the offensive line was gonna suck. I don't know what's up with that. But it was weird. It was weird with that. But what I would say too, you know, the Brady influence and the reason why that there is a Brady influence. And somebody said, how do we know that Brady really loves Sanders? I mean, I could pull up an article. We went over that on Friday Night Live.
Well, and I know Shedeur was, when Brady had his clothing brand, Shedeur was like an ambassador, and they had like done
they work out together,
a lot of workouts together. Yeah,
loves them. So
he definitely loves them. Yeah.
And the reason why he loves him is because how he studies and all those things. Like he is ready to go as an NFL quarterback, and I feel a lot better about drafting him now that Chip Kelly's there. That's how I feel about it.
Okay.
Like if it was like somebody else or like let's say it was Ben Johnson, I would feel a little weird, right? Because you know the way Ben Johnson runs offense, throwing those deep digs and stuff like that, and he does throw a good dig, but in the NFL, I think he'll be better in the offense that Chip Kelly likes to run, because if you can get him to take those completions and not take the sacks that he takes, I think there's something there where the Raiders can be better than they were last year very quickly, and he could look a lot better than he actually is. That's my thing. But I do think he's going to be there at 6. And the main reason, and I did these measurements because they got measured before the year started. So I don't know how big he's going to come in at the combine. But before the year started, they did like this thing with quarterback measurements, and he is 6'1", 198.
Okay.
Without a big arm. And that's why I think he'll be there at 6.
And that's why I don't want to take him at 6. Is because you're just like, he doesn't have the big, like, there's not that one elite trait. And people say it's processing, but when I was kind of on it, but then when we did that breakdown of how long it takes him to throw the damn ball, sometimes I'm like, well, is the processing as elite as I think it is? You know, is what's the one trait other than we need a quarterback and our owner loves him? What is the elite trait? I mean, look, you're right. I actually expect this. If I were to bet money, I would bet that this is the pick, but I just it just bothers me that like, it's like our owner loves him and our owner can just override it at any time. Our minority owner can override it any time and hop it. I hope that doesn't happen because that's what happened. Brady went in and said, we have to take Shedeur, you know?
Yeah. Cause that's the thing. It's going to be about that. Not that I'm saying it's like, it's a bad thing necessarily, but I really feel like there's something to that where, you know, Sanders really likes him. And MEZBX is really trying to be skeptical about this, bro. I read a whole article about this, how Brady loves Sanders and the way he works. I actually put it on the show. I put it on this show.
No, everyone, and that's pretty common knowledge that Brady and Shedeur are like on like pretty good speaking terms and stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, again, maybe they're just really good friends. And he's like, oh, but you suck at quarterback. But you know, I don't know. I doubt it though. Like,
I hope not. But there's a factor to it, and also you got to deal with like the star power of it, and you know, fans would be super excited.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no. And like I said, it gives them a starting quarterback that can go out there and play early that we think. And, you know, he's going to be playing indoors a lot, you know, like for all his home games and a few other AFC road games, I would imagine, or NFC road games. And, you know, that's good. You know, like that's good. I wouldn't hate it. I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to be the team that does it in the top 10. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be like taking Tua.
That's a good comp. I haven't been doing the Tua with him, but that makes a lot more sense now. I think you're right. Like the Tua were very accurate. You know, looks like it takes forever to get there, you know, but it gets there, you know. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, because somebody asked a question. I just missed it about him and CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud has a stronger arm.
He has a hose. Yeah, CJ Stroud, and he's bigger, right? Isn't he a bigger guy? Yeah, I mean, they're not comparable at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just CJ Stroud's like 6'3".
Yeah.
He's almost 220 pounds.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's to me, yeah, I think Tua, I haven't even thought, I think Tua, and I thought a lot of Kirk Cousins. When I see Shador, I think of Kirk Cousins. I don't know why. I just I know, he can, improvise a little bit better than Kirk Cousins, a little bit more athleticism, but I just the arm, the way the ball comes out of his hand reminds me of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. But he doesn't bother me though. Like, he really wouldn't, because Chip Kelly's here. I
Mhm.
feel a whole lot better
Yeah.
about your Sanders.
Situation matters for sure.
Yeah, because I know that Chip Kelly's gonna build around his skill set. He's not stupid. Chip Kelly's not an idiot on offense. That's what I like.
Mhm.
Somebody asked, do I like Horn from Colorado? Yeah, Horn would be a speed guy
Mhm.
for them at this point, but I do like Horn. I don't know why those guys all went to the East-West Shrine game. But there's Senior Bowl beef. I don't know what that's happening
Very
there.
weird. Yeah, Jim Nagy kind of situation. I have no
They're
idea.
like there's some beef there. There's some beef between the Shrine Bowl. I don't know how they got those Colorado guys to go there, but
Mhm.
yeah, I really wish those guys went to Senior Bowl, because him and Will Shepherd. I think him and Will Shepherd deserve to.
They're good. They're good players. I like his receiving core a lot. I like a lot of those guys. LeJontay Webster, like a lot of those guys were good.
All right, before we get to round two here, let's get some other questions. What do you think of McCord? Is he basically OC, or does he have a better arm?
Looks like a lot. He just looks like a backup to me. I don't know. Just a backup, good, solid backup quarterback. I think he's going to play in the league, and be around. But it kind of reminds me of like when Tanner McKee was coming out for Stanford, and the Eagles like Tanner McKee. He played towards the end of the year, but if you're drafting him, I don't think you have the idea that he's like your long term starter. I just don't. I think he's a backup.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that about Kyle McCord. Does Spytek push all the chips and trade it for Cam Ward?
I think it gets really interesting if Tennessee either takes Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, or just like decides they're going to take Sam Darnold, or sign Sam Darnold, and they go look, or Aaron Rodgers or something random. They do something like that, and then that number 2 pick comes for sale, and Cleveland's got a lot of problems right now. Maybe they don't want to trade Myles Garrett and they want to find another way to get picks. And then the number 2 pick goes for shit. And look, Cam Ward and Chip Kelly would be very interesting for me. Would be very interesting. And I'm not the biggest Cam Ward fan, but like I actually like that with Chip Kelly a lot. And like I said, if Tennessee does something weird at 1, Cam Ward is very possible, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Whatever happened to the OSU linebacker we drafted last year? I mean, he just didn't play.
He's a 5th round pick. Let him develop. Yeah, he's a special teams player. He was hurt. He was hurt for all training camp, I thought, or towards the end of training camp he played. But Tommy Eichenberg, we'll see. We'll see if he fits. See if he stays on the team. When you change coaches like this, you never know.
Yeah. What's the next question? How did I forgot? I don't know what
that was Watts. Different player, but Merrick's can get really physical, like a box safety. Watts is a roam sideline to sideline roaming kind of safety.
Crosby getting $35 million per year. I mean,
it'll be there. I think it'll be right at that. Between 30 and 35. That seems like that's where the market is, because Micah Parsons is probably going to get paid too. So
yeah,
they're probably both of them are probably waiting for the playing chicken basically.
This is a good question. How far would be the most you would trade back?
You could talk me into I would say inside the top 15. And don't do the Reggie McKenzie, Deion Jordan, DJ Hayden thing where you get a 2nd round pick for moving down from 3 to 13. No, you would get, if someone gives you a haul, right? If let's just say, the problem is like, who are you doing it for? Because the fans will get mad that you passed on a quarterback, but that's really what teams trade up for now when they move up really high. They move up really high to take a quarterback more often than not, but if you do get like a Will Anderson situation where a team wants to trade up a lot, I take it personally. I think the Raiders need a lot of depth. If I'm being real, that was the problem with Telesco, as we've highlighted. And if you could get a couple seconds, a future first, or just a mixed, like a big gift box full of picks over the next couple of years, I think that does this franchise a lot of help.
Yeah, I agree. Thoughts on the South Dakota guard in round 2?
Haven't watched him. I've heard things. I've heard people say he just went crazy though. Like,
Yeah, he had a great week. I haven't watched it. I just don't think the Raiders are going to go that high for a guard. I think the Raiders are going to go get a guard to free agency.
did you see that? Did you see that? What was the one had us taking the guard out of Bama? It was Cynthia Friedland's mock draft. I know she does like an analytics mock draft, which is weird because a guard wouldn't be in the top 10 on an analytics mock draft. I think she was trying to make a weird Raiders pick. And it was they had the Bama guard, and I don't know his name, but the Bama guard at 6 overall. But yeah, you're right. I don't think so either. I think they're gonna go veteran guard in free agency.
Yeah, they got 107 million, man. Go pay Trey Smith, bro.
Trey Smith, go pay Dodson, Kevin Dodson. I think what's his name, Kevin Dodson from the Rams.
Yeah.
He was the Steelers. James Daniels. You can go get there's a lot of good guards in free agency. Go get one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Will Hernandez is good. Like there's a lot of good guards in the free agency. Mekhi Becton.
Yeah. Yeah, now you're talking.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, those type of things. Mike Green is not going to be there. I know, cool story, bro. You asked about Mason Graham. I really thought about taking Mason Graham over.
Yeah, me too. No, yeah. No, and I wouldn't. And guess what? I would not be mad if they did. I would completely understand it, and I think you have a chance to be elite at a certain position group. You go do it.
I thought about it. I stared at Mason Graham for a long time. See, because the thing with Mason Graham, though, I think if teams get stupid with his arm length, like if the Raiders did trade back, that would be the trade back guy. Like if they traded back to like 10 to 12, that's who you would get, just in case teams get real stupid with his arm length.
Yeah, and teams get weird with like guys like Walter Nolan. Like, there might be one team that's like Walter Nolan in the top 10, and we have to take him. And that's not hating. I like Walter Nolan, but he's like pounds, kind of a tweener. You know, some teams might view him as like an edge. There's going to be some weird Michael Walker, like Michael Williams. I mean, there's going to be a lot of guys that like. I feel like with defensive line, a lot of teams like certain guys more than fan bases do, and they get drafted higher. And so I could see Mason Graham. They're defensive tackles. I had been saying that for a long time. There's not a lot of defensive tackles that go high anymore. You know, like there's just not. It's just like Quinnen Williams every once in a while. Jalen Carter was the ninth pick. You know, so it's we're talking about a guy at 6 who I don't think is as good as Jalen Carter, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I would still gladly take him. But it's not out of the question to say he falls out of the top 10.
All right. Let's get to round two. Here.
Okay. This is where the fans are going to hate me now because there's some people that haven't heard of this guy, but he is a riser and he's going to crush the combine, and he's absolutely going to be a guy that I think goes higher than a lot of people are ready for. But with the 37th pick in the 2025 draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select linebacker Demetrius Knight Jr. out of South Carolina. You want to talk about a freak? This guy is a freak. 6'1", 246, 33-inch arms, 86 tackles. He's a captain at South Carolina. He transferred from Charlotte and Georgia Tech. He's older. He's kind of like a Bo Nix linebacker. But watch his tape. This guy freaking runs, man. And sideline to sideline. And guess what, man? I don't know if it was a Shrine Bowl or a Senior Bowl, Senior Bowl coverage reps looking pretty good there too. And he's gonna blow up the combine. And no, this is not pick 6. You guys are late. This is pick 37. And it was I'm telling you,
39.
Was it 39?
Is 37? Is it 30? I don't know. Who cares?
I think it's 37. Second round pick, guys. I'm in love with this guy. This guy's awesome. He just like if you Google his name, or I mean, if you type in his name on like Twitter search to find clips, there's all these guys like Rise and Draft, all these guys going like, hey, I came here to watch, Kennard and TJ Sanders, and this linebacker is just like a freak, and he's flying all over the place. And guess what, man? We're Pete Carroll. We're going to need a little bit more rangy out of our linebackers, a little more rangy. We don't know what they're going to do with Spillane. We don't know what's going to happen. This guy's a middle linebacker, but I have a feeling he could play outside too. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Demetrius Knight had a great Senior Bowl week.
Dude, he's a beast.
He had a great Senior Bowl week. He was all over the field. A lot of athleticism. He's very athletic. He makes a lot of plays. He was great in coverage, the coverage drills. He really caught my eye, and he caught Matt's eye because Matt does linebackers for Bleacher Report, and Matt was super happy about how he played. Right, so BBW enjoyer said, "Who that is Demetrius Knight? He is a really good linebacker. I'm telling you, he had a great week, and he really stood out. That's one of the players that when I came out of the Senior Bowl, I was like, wow, like, that guy would be the type of guy that you would take here. And you're right. I mean, he is athletic. He's an athlete. That's what you really like about him. I put the 2 career touchdowns because I think that's a big deal in my opinion for a linebacker.
Yeah. Game very clutch too. He had a game sealing pick against, I want to say Clemson. It had a really nice diving play. Really good coverage reps against Vanderbilt. And I'm not a guy who's like, I got to go offense, defense, offense, defense. I just take the best player available. And the reason I think he might be there, even if he blows up the combine, which I think he's going to, the reason I think he might be there is this is another thing what we're talking about with corners. Linebackers are different. There's guys like Barrett Carter or smaller. Other teams might really value that, or want different things out of their linebackers. I just want a big guy that can hit, man. The Raiders couldn't tackle last year. And this guy, even when he's not in position, he's making open field tackles on Jalen Milroe, in Alabama. And he's got the 33-inch arms where he could do those Max Crosby tackles where like, oh, you're getting by me, actually, Gumby, and I just bring you back in. And he might go, look, like I said, he might go there, but he might go late first. You just never know. But I think if he's there, I sprint the card in.
Yeah, I mean, he's projected as a 2nd-round pick. I mean, everywhere I look, he's projected as a 2nd-round pick.
I've heard 3rd or 4th. I heard Voch Lombardi was saying like 4th round. I mean, you just don't know. You just don't know what these guys. But he's a day 2 guy for me, and I sprint the card in. We need the Raiders. One thing they can't do. Everybody talks about quarterback. What are they going to do? What's their offense like? They need corners. They need a tackle, and this guy can tackle.
Yeah, and he's going to blow up the combine because a lot of people are mad because you didn't take Jihad Campbell over him.
He wasn't there. He's Jihad Campbell's linebacker 1, but I think Jihad Campbell's going to be a 1st-round pick. So
see, that's the thing. So
I love Jihad Campbell. Yeah, I mean, sign me up. Yeah,
because that's the thing. Like we use the PFF mock draft system.
Yeah.
So we went with what was there. I'm the only person that cheated with Shedeur Sanders. I cheated.
No, and you see the Raider fans on like Raiders Twitter or something. They'll do a 7-round mock draft with everyone that's going to be taken in the first 90 picks, and they like rig the system their way, and they're like, my mock draft rules, I would fix the Raiders, and I'm like, no, I'm trying to like make real decisions. If Jihad Campbell's there over Demetrius Knight, I take him. That guy's the best linebacker in the draft.
Yeah,
and he has like edge ability, versatility, like he has all types of stuff that I don't think Demetrius Knight has at the moment. But this is who I think's there at 37, and I don't mind them going back-to-back defensive picks at all. Because I think offense in free agency, that's why I said they attacked the O-line in free agency, brought in Justin Fields, maybe a wide receiver, I don't know. But it puts you in a position to draft Will Johnson and Demetrius Knight, and you brought some intensity and badassness to this defense.
Yeah, somebody said, "Is he like Edmonds?" I love that guy as a prospect. I'll say he's bigger than Edmonds.
Who was it?
Edmonds. Tremaine Edmonds.
He's old. Yeah. Edmonds was big. I think he weighs a little bit more than Edmonds. I think Edmonds was like 6'2", 6'3", though. Edmonds was tall, I thought. But to be honest, the play style is similar. I think this dude's a little nastier, to be honest. Like he gets in the muck a little bit, and when he sees if you're trying to play around in the backfield at all, he's gonna come get you. Like there's no buying time in the backfield. He will come see, and he just knifes through backfields, man. I watch his highlights, man. Just watch, like, I know I was hating on highlights, but like fans, if you just like, he has like a couple highlight videos and it's awesome. Like, all the plays are great.
Yeah. People are really bad that you did Jihad Campbell. It's so funny. I read these.
I'm like, yeah, I would love to. I would love if he was there.
Over Jihad Campbell.
Yeah, I know. No, hey, guess what? I took him over Cam Ward. Yeah, Cam Ward was there in the 2nd round, and I took him over Cam Ward. Yeah. It's like,
it's so funny.
Dude. I literally, you can vouch for me. I sent you the PFF thing that I used, like the screenshot of my draft. Like you can't just build your own, man. This isn't like,
man. You guys just Trayvon Henderson. Would you take him over? Do you take him over Trayvon Henderson?
Stop, guys.
Yeah. Relax, man. Let's finish the draft.
Relax.
Let us finish here. All right. So it's just so funny. They're so bad.
They get fired up, man. Everybody hates me, man. I see on the Chip Kelly, Glen, nobody's talking about. Shut up, Glen.
Over Amore on Hampton.
Yeah. Glen got happy about Brock Bowers last year. What an idiot.
Yeah. This is just funny. All right. So my pick, which I think we're gonna like more because I saw his name in there. I went with a defensive tackle. Right, defensive tackle. I was watching. He felt more like a nose tackle when I was watching him today. But I read Matt's review of him, and he says that he's 3 technique. But I went Tyleik Williams,
Yeah.
DT from Ohio State. So I went Tyleik Williams. So Tyleik is 6'3", 327 pounds. He has 13 career sacks. So that's why when I started watching him, I was like, hey, this guy could be like a
Nice.
John Jenkins guy, right? John Jenkins, nose tackle. But then I read Matt's breakdown, because Matt does the defensive line for Bleacher Report. And he saw a lot of the same things I saw. Like, he has like some high pad levels, some things, but he's just so good against the run. Like he makes so many plays. He is really athletic for how big he is, right? But I think there is a chance where you can see some upside as a pass rusher. I do think he has really high pad level, though. Like, he's got to get his pads down. Like,
yeah.
He reminds me like Neil Farrell Jr. a little bit, but like more athletic.
Okay.
Like Neil Farrell Jr. was like the worst athlete that there could be. Like, his RAS is like a 0.1. He's like literally the worst athlete you could find. But Tyleik Williams is kind of maybe has a little bit of his issues, but he's athletic, right? So there's but that's the whole NFL. Like, are you an athlete? Because the NFL, you have to be a great athlete. I don't care what anybody says.
What happens with Cleveland Farrell? That was the problem with Cleveland Farrell the whole
time. Are
like,
you an athlete?
Yeah, you will not. Can you beat this guy? I don't care how much tape you watch. I mean, I do care. I hope you watch a lot of tape. But at one point, you're just going to have to beat this guy in a fight.
Yeah, but he is quick. For 327 pounds. Like, he can move. He's fast for his size. I'm not saying that he's like a 4'4" guy or anything like that. But for his size, he can move. He can make plays in the backfield. He is great against the run.
He's big too, man. I didn't realize he was 327 because he was in Gruden does his like fired football coach thing where he brings in guys to watch like tape with him, and Tyleik Williams was in there with him, and that dude looked like, I mean, it didn't look like 327, and I'm saying that meaning he was in good shape. And I was really impressed with him too. He seems like a real like film junkie too, and I'm a big fan of this pick.
Yeah, so I like Tyleik Williams a lot. I thought he would be a good fit for what the Raiders like to do, and then also I do think like the nose guard type of player is like, if you're a older fan, you probably you're thinking like the dude from Gilbert, whatever, I forget his name, from the Packers, like the big old fat dude. That nose, you know what I'm saying? A big old fat dude with
or even like a BJ Raji, Vince Wilfork,
the Ted Washingtons, you know what I mean?
Yeah, big fat
big
dude.
Fat man.
Yeah,
right?
like barbecue sauce on your fingers still, like when you're playing, like just like a joke, like kind of like, I love how fat I am. But yeah, these dudes, this is different, dude. This is like, you watch, all sports are like that now. Like, there's not even fat pitchers in baseball that much anymore. Like it's just not, ain't that many fat dudes in sports, except for the NBA. They get traded to the Lakers, but like that's the only sport where you can be fat now is the NBA, which is really weird.
Yeah. The two best players in the NBA are fat guys.
Yeah, fat dudes from Eastern Europe. Yeah. They smoke cigarettes and shit like that. They don't care. Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah.
One of the most athletic sports in the world. The two best players are fat dudes. All right. But yeah, I like Tyleik Williams. I watched. Yeah, Gilbert Brown. Thank you, Hunter Ellis. I appreciate that. Gilbert Brown.
That's a poll, man. That's a poll.
I think you. Yeah. So, but I do like Tyleik Williams. I like this film. I like the upside as a pass rusher. He's got to get his pad level down. Like he'll literally stand straight up. It's like bro.
So would you say, I don't know if you made this choice personally in the simulator, but if you had a choice between Kenneth Grant and Tyleik Williams at 37, would you still take Tyleik Williams?
See, when I did the simulator, Tyleik Williams was the highest player I had available.
Okay. So, but if now I'm saying, would you do it though? Like, would you because Kenneth Grant's got that, he's like 340 and I feel like he's a true nose. Would you do it?
I don't want to say right now because I don't watch Kenneth Brown's film. I wouldn't want to depend on that. But if he has better pad level, then yes.
Yeah. Kenneth Grant's nasty. Yeah, Kenneth.
Yeah, because Tyleik Williams literally stands straight up. Like like even I reading Matt's report. Matt talked about that, how he'll literally get out of the stance. He'll stand like straight up. I'm like, bro, like sure, like in the Big Ten, yeah, you could just toss guys, stand straight up.
Yeah.
The NFL, it doesn't matter how big you are, you're gonna get tossed. You know what I mean? So that's my thing with him. He's got to work on his pad level, got to get that down. But there is a serious upside with him, in my opinion. So
nice. No, I I like the picks. I think both of our drafts are, pretty good so far. And then we get 2 picks in the 3rd round. Thank you, Devontae.
Thank you, Devontae Adams, for these next few. So let's see if I got any more questions here. This is what's Brock Purdy's status? Like, I mean,
I don't know. That is interesting. I think I don't think the Niners really have a choice. I think they kind of have to pay him, because who are you going to replace him with?
Yeah.
And they can't like rebuild right now. So yeah.
What is the verdict on DJ Glaze? Is no hate good news?
You just don't know. I mean, Chip Kelly's press conference, he's like, "Look, we're trying to get our staff together, and then I'm grinding tape." And I think Glaze is going to be a part of this team next year. I think he had a real nice rookie season, and I'd love to know some. It's gonna be interesting. Your offseason is really interesting with the thresholds and all this stuff, like, because I don't think the Raiders are gonna be as predictable as they were in the past, with like being able to predict the Alex Leatherwood pick and stuff. But interested to see where the current guys stand on maybe thresholds for like Chip Kelly offense.
Yeah. I mean, the only threshold I know is the 32-inch arms with Pete Carroll.
And Glaze is 34 or 35, right? Glaze got.
No, I'm talking about corners.
Corners. Yeah. I was just saying, because I know Glaze has arm length, so I'm just wondering if that's something. If Chip Kelly values that, then he's probably our starting right tackle.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do, because you're right. I mean, I could go back and see what Chip Kelly does, but I mean.
Yeah, but he wasn't drafting, so yeah, you don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
He did draft Lane Johnson, right? Didn't he draft Lane Johnson?
Yeah, he's a freak, right? He was a freak coming out. Yeah, I'm not sure if he was. Yeah, because I don't think Andy Reid did, and I don't think Doug Peterson. Yeah. I'm not. I'd just be interested, because I think that's a good question. How much on the O-line do they do? People are saying, why don't we draft in any O-line? Mine, I added some guys in free agency with the $107 million, but. Yeah, I in the draft, I don't love this offensive line class that much, honestly. Like, there's not like a lot of like top end guys to me, and I like, you think about Tate Rutledge, like I thought about those guys for sure.
Yeah, I thought about taking some offensive linemen too, but I think they should wait.
Yeah, this class is not. This is a very interesting draft class,
because in my opinion, I think DJ Glaze played good enough where I think he could be a starter right tackle. It's just how they feel about Parham and the other guard position, but I still think you could find good guards in the 4th round. Like, you don't have to reach.
I agree.
Unless he's like a stud, like he's just like, unless he's Jackson Powers Johnson, there's no reason to reach for an interior player, in my opinion. Those guys that's where their value is in the later rounds. So,
yep.
Let's see. People are asking about Stafford already, but we'll get to that. I think Pete's gonna be nervous about character red flags. Huh?
Yeah, I've thought about that, because that is kind of the one thing, it is a thing in Vegas, and I think you kind of just have to go business as usual, though. I don't think you can pass on top talent. I think you have to, like, because a lot of times guys get in trouble. But like, you look at the Henry Ruggs situation, which was about as unlucky as it gets for like us as fans, right? And it's obviously terrible for everybody involved and all that. But you're kind of like, that didn't ruin the team, Like, yeah, it made you have to make a big trade in the offseason for a wide receiver. I get that, but like, they made the playoffs that year, And you have to keep trying to acquire top talent. And if some of these guys have some red flags, but at the end of the day, I think these guys are confident enough that when they talk to these guys, they interview these guys. I mean, Pete takes his shirt off in the interviews. Like, if he really vibes with these people, I think he's going to look past it. We'll just have to deal with it.
Yeah. 2 questions back to back is trade for Stafford and Kupp, because we got, would he fit?
I have a hard time believing they're getting rid of Matthew Stafford. None of
that would
it
be really stupid.
Yeah, the only way you do that is if Sean McVay retires and we're starting over. You know what I mean? We're like, Sean McVay has an announcing deal or something. Kupp, they really want Kupp out of there. They're like, we'll help you. it sounds like Cup's going to be like a sixth or like seventh round pick, and you take the money basically. And I would think about Cooper Kupp because he's got hands, dude. He's got hands and he blocks. He's got hands and he blocks. And it's it's like when you have Myers, Kupp, Tucker, Bowers, you start getting a little excited. And you can do a lot of things on offense. I don't think Kupp is cooked. I think Puka just came in and Puka was such a surprise for how dominant he's been. He just became the number one.
And Stafford only throws to one guy.
It's kind of true. He spams it, dude. And yeah, he just and he started really liking Demarcus Robinson too. Demarcus Robinson had a really nice year for them and stuff. And I would say I think Kupp's gonna end up being one of those conditional picks where it's like it's a fifth or a sixth, and then it can become a fourth if this type of thing happens. I take a risk because I think a team like the Chiefs or the Eagles are gonna try it otherwise. Like they're smart teams are still gonna want Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to third round. Let's get the third round started. Let's go with your pick, Glenn.
Okay. So with the 68th overall pick, I was asked about him earlier, but I'm going with Travion Henderson, the running back out of Ohio State. Some people are going to say he's not going to be there, but have you realized how loaded this running back class is? It's Caleb Johnson, Omarion Hampton, Ashton Genty. Who knows about your guy Ollie Gordon? Some people are going to really value different backs. They do slip. It still happens. It could go second round. The teams always fall in love with certain guys. But man, this guy, I went into the offseason thinking Judkins was better, but I think Travion Henderson is much more complete. When you watch him picking up a blitz, he'll put you in a body bag. Like he's knocking out Penn State safeties blitzing, and good build, 5'10", 208, bunch of touchdowns. He can run wheel routes. He really crafty runner too. And when you get him in space, and that we need a home run hitter on this team, like in the worst way. I think this is just a no-brainer pick. Even if Chip Kelly wasn't hired, I want them. This would be the pick. Now I want him even more on this team.
Yeah, I like Henderson a lot. Now, I kind of disagree with the long speed thing. I think Henderson doesn't have long speed. I think Henderson is a more of a what's the back that I would compare him to? I'm trying to think of the top of my head. I don't have the exact comparison right now. I'll have it later, but I do think that the long speed really is in there. That's why they have Judkins. That's why they had him. Judkins was a long speed guy. Henderson was the let me get the tough yards. Let me get the let me block. Let me catch the ball out of the backfield. He's the more complete running back. And I think there's a lot of upside. My comp for him, I got it now. I remember what it was. It's J.K. Dobbins.
I mean, hey, when he's healthy, when he's healthy, that's a great. He's a great player. Sign me up. You don't think Henderson has that long speed? I mean, the guy's like, when you get on. I think he creates his own space and then doesn't get caught. So I mean, to me, I think the speed's there, but I also think he creates his own space. He's just a really smart runner, very efficient, not a lot of wasted steps. And then I think he gets away from anybody trying to tackle him. I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't see. I don't see the long speed that you see for some of the other running backs in the draft.
Yeah, like Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson is like crazy long speed where you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
But still, I think that 5'10", 208. This guy immediately comes in as like starting on this team, and depending on what they do in free agency, I'm pro like taking him, and then I would give Nick Chubb a flyer, or trade for a Zach Charbonnet, somebody like that, and then I can kind of have a couple different backs I can give people different looks with.
Yeah, people are saying he runs a 4-3-4-4. I don't know. I watched a lot of Chip Kelly. I didn't see a 4-4-4-3. I could be wrong.
I'm interested to see what he runs. I think he's gonna.
I could be wrong.
I think he's gonna look up at the camera and two middle fingers for Marcus Johnson. Like that was a 4-3-5. Yeah.
I didn't feel like when I was watching both those guys, like I didn't feel like that he was just a home run hitter.
And it's funny. Yeah, for sure. No, as I see people talking about Caleb Johnson, like he has that speed, but Caleb Johnson's weird because I just like never. Every time I see him, it's just like it looks so perfectly blocked all the time in Iowa, and he's just like takes off. And I'm always like, man, with Travion Henderson, I feel like he's just like crafty and like moving better. And I just, yeah. But anyways, you were saying that I'm interested. This long speed thing is interesting because that's not what I expected.
Yeah, because he was saying he's the fastest running back in college. And like, really? Is he?
I
Like,
mean, I mean,
I
he
didn't see it.
moves. He moves.
I
You
just
what?
didn't
The end of
see
the
it.
first half against Texas on that screen. I mean, he goes. He was like
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he takes off. I mean, during the college football playoff, I mean, he was moving, man, and that's why I didn't think he did either. And then the end of the game, I think they're playing Indiana where he slides down at the thing. He burned that whole defense. I mean, it was like I don't know.
I don't know. Like, there's times where like even the Notre Dame game, like I felt like there's times where if he had that long speed that people are saying that he just would have took it to the house. So I guess it's where I'm getting it from, but I don't know. I'll watch more and maybe I'll eat my words here, but man, I didn't see like just burner guy, I guess, but I saw like I'm not saying he's like Josh Jacobs or nothing like that or Najee Harris. Like I saw
Mhm.
a good speed. I just didn't see like a guy that was gonna you know take it to the house consistently. Like if you like missed a hole like like Jameer Gibbs or somebody like that or even Jonathan Taylor. Like I didn't see that type of speed. I saw like good speed, but I just didn't see like a
Mhm.
like I don't know. I guess it's what
It's
I guess
interesting.
what I'm trying to say.
Hey, I mean, we'll see.
I could be wrong though. Maybe I'm wrong. So
Yeah, because I think he'll run like a 4.42, but around there as
yes,
well.
yes. So maybe I am wrong. If you ran a sub 1100 in high school, then I mean I did that too though. I did ran a sub
Oh,
1100.
then
So
not to brag. Whoa, whoa, damn.
Anyways, but yeah. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just didn't see it. So I could be wrong though. I'm not
Hey,
gonna.
man.
I'm not.
No, like I said, I
I
just
don't
want
mind
to.
being wrong.
I just want him in that. I just want him in that. In the Raiders uniform with Chip Kelly. I just want it.
Yeah. So all right. So Henderson, and then here's my pick. So I will say that I went running back too. Okay, I did go to
Did
running
you go?
back
Did
too.
you do what I think you did?
Yeah. See, Raider Ghost already called me out here.
Oh, nice. That's not what I thought you did then. Okay.
Yeah, I went Devin Neal out of
Love
Kansas.
Devin Neal. Love Devin Neal.
I went Devin Neal out of
Are
Kansas.
all these running backs good? I love the Rutgers guy. I like all these. Yeah, they're all good. I think all of them.
Somebody said I should take Scat, but Scat was gone in the
Damn.
paper. They had him really high. I literally when I was thinking about Tyreek Williams, I was like, okay, I could take Cam Scatterbo here at 39,
Yeah.
or I could take Tyreek Williams, or I could take Cam Scatterbo. And I was like, if I don't take Cam Scatterbo, I'm not gonna have him at the next pick. So that was my issue here. And see some people talking about what about the running back from NC is that they just weren't there, right?
No, he goes in like the top of the second. The Omar and Hampton.
He might go. He might go like first.
Yeah,
He's
it's
high, right away.
crazy. And to me, like I want to leave this I want to leave this draft with two running backs. I want to take one second or third round, maybe the second round, but most likely like third round, and then like the fifth or sixth round. I like that Kyle Monagai, I think his name is out of Rutgers. He's one of my favorite running backs in the draft too. It's so loaded, and I have a hard time finding running backs that I don't like in the class. When I watch them, I'm like, no, they all look good. It's like it's a crazy. Yeah, and then you have Ollie Gordon. I mean, so many, but I love Devin Neal.
Ollie Gordon was gone because somebody asked. It was Ollie Gordon. Yeah, Ollie Gordon was gone too.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's going to be a wild class for running backs because it's easily the best position group in the draft, and it's coming off of a year where Saquon Barkley is like the most exciting player in the NFL,
Yeah.
and Derrick Henry is gave the Ravens a new dimension. Like running backs are back now, and Josh Jacobs with the Packers. Now you're seeing the best running. These guys might go high. You don't know.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on Devin Neal.
He's a beast against Colorado. His Colorado tape is like some of the.
He beat Colorado by himself.
He was unbelievable. Yeah,
he beat Colorado by himself, and he had a great week at the Senior Bowl. He was probably the best running back at the Senior Bowl.
Is he really 220?
Yeah, he's 220.
Wow,
that is his Senior Bowl weigh-in. That is not a joke. He's 5'11". He's 220 pounds. He's fast. He can run routes. He can catch, and he can block. So he's a 3-down back. Okay, so if they get him here, like, I mean, even if they wait a little bit, I know somebody asking about the value of the running backs, and I understand that. I
I
understand the value of the running backs,
I
right?
don't think that, and honestly, I don't think the league cares anymore. I think with Barkley, Henry, and all these guys in the league, it's coming. We're turning back into a running back league, kind of a little bit.
And even if you take that approach, it's better to get these guys on a rookie contract, anyways. So
Yeah,
I mean, we
third
get
round
the
and third round contract. That you know, at third round contract is not a first round contract. It's low.
yeah. So that's why I really like, because he had a great Senior Bowl week, and he has really good film. I'm probably gonna do him for the show tomorrow that me and Matt are
Cool,
gonna do. So I'm
cool.
gonna do a full breakdown kind of show why I really like him. Because I'm probably gonna be higher on him than most people, because he is just so effective in so many areas. Like, you know what I'm saying, he's a check down guy. Like, if you could throw him the ball, check down, he can make a couple yards. You know, he could take it to the house. He could take it 70 yards. He could take a swing pass 70 yards. You know what I'm saying? So it would
He's a
be crazy.
monster. He's a monster.
So
He's a monster.
I really like Devin Neal a lot, man.
People are asking about Singleton. I believe he's going back to school. The Penn State kid, Nicholas Singleton. He's a beast, though.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And my dude Calvin here, he's talking about value and get a running back. You can, and I agree. You can.
I want
get
two.
A running back
He's correct. I want two running backs. I want one day 2 and day 3. I want two. I want to leave this draft class with 2 running backs. That's how good the class is.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys in this class. Like, because somebody talked about the dude from Delaware. He had a great week at Senior Bowl. The dude from SMU looked good. Of course, I love Ollie Gordon too. I love Ollie Gordon. There's just so many guys, and there's so many guys that you could like, because even at the Senior Bowl, because I mean, even if you wanted to go like RJ Harvey, those guys are there. Those the running class is deep. But my thing is, like, since it's so deep, right? There are some great running backs that are higher than others. And the Raiders, okay, the Raiders need a running back.
They're the
And
worst.
And when you're in the position where you need a running back, that's why you take one in the third. Because once you get further past there, I mean, we could talk about running back hits. If you listed your top 10 running backs in the NFL, they're all going to be first, second, and third round picks.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
You go Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, and you can keep going. They're first, second, and third round picks, right? So once you get past the third round of running back, maybe you don't want to take him in the first round, but once you get past the third round, he's a Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams he ran a 4.6. That's what Kyron Williams felt. Once you get past the third round, you're not going to get a superstar running back. You're not going to get that type of dude that is like going to be really, really good, that you could feel comfortable with giving that ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how that feels. I mean, because the same way with like first round running backs, when you have, quarterbacks, I mean, the best way to hit on them is in the first round. You get further in the round, the less you hit on them, right? Same thing with running backs. You get past that third round, if they're not a third round back, I mean, there's a chance they could be Zamir White. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things, right? So that's just how I look at it with the running back position. If the Raiders really want a great running back out of this draft, they got to take it in the third. I mean,
who's giving Dave Meggett comps in the chat? That's incredible. That's a pull right there.
Hunter Ellis, man. I mean, I skipped it, but Hunter Ellis, man, he came with the Gilbert Brown and the David Meggett.
Man, that I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's just if you want a superstar running back, like if you just want to get a running back, then yeah. But if you want a running back, you gotta take it, and you gotta take him in the second or third round. I mean, that's how you have to look at it, especially with the young. And I think it's important too, if you take a young quarterback, the running back is even more important, because
and the offensive coordinator. You're talking about a guy who wants to run the football and run it a lot, and you're going to need a couple guys. We don't have anybody on the roster. I'm sorry, Sincere McCormick fans. I think you can upgrade over him.
Yeah, man.
Man, Calvin's just not having it from you. He just crumpled whatever you set up and threw it in the trash. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. We did have one. We had one. You're right.
What?
You're right,
and when was that guy drafted? By the way,
the first round. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my point, though.
It was a bad pick, but it was a bad pick. But then we had him and we let him go away. But now don't make a bad pick. Yeah,
it's the truth. Like rank your running backs. Rank the top 10. There's not going to be many outside of the third round.
Yeah, for sure. It's not the Raheem Mostert, Kyle Shanahan days that everybody bases this running back value thing on. Those are over, I think.
Yeah. I mean, even Shanahan traded for Christian McCaffrey.
Exactly. Even he decided, like, I kind of want a first round running back, or a running back that costs a bunch of picks.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Last picks, man.
Let's get last picks here. Go ahead.
Okay, guys, you thought it was controversial already. I'm bringing it in. 73rd overall pick. The Raiders select Will Howard, quarterback out of Ohio State. Now, I don't think he's going to be here personally, but every board I check, he is kind of in this range. So I did feel realistic in taking him. A lot of people don't like him, but I have a hard time thinking that a national champion who is as big as he is, I have a feeling he's just not going to be there in the third round. But this dude, I mean, look at it holistically. I have Justin Fields in here, and then I'm bringing Will Howard in behind him, right? I'm giving Will Howard a year. Now, if Justin Fields stinks, then hey, Will Howard, you're playing meaningful snaps this year. We hope we're not. Right? Like, we hope that's not the case. We hope Justin Fields has a good year on this Raiders team, and Will Howard can develop, and then you let Justin Fields leave in free agency, or even trade him, get picks back, and then you have your guy of the future. I wanted Will Howard without Chip Kelly here, but now I really am banging the table for it. This is the guy who people talk about Will Howard like he was bad at Kansas State, and I think that's wrong. I think that's incorrect. I think he was a good quarterback. He played a different style of football at Kansas State. He played like Taysom Hill football at Kansas State. But that comes up, that all the years of doing that really helped him because he's really good in short yardage situations. And people bring up his Michigan tape. Show me the quarterbacks that lit them up this year, though. How many?
No.
How many quarterbacks lit them up? Jalen Milroe didn't do it. Dylan Gabriel, maybe? No, did he? No, I don't think Dylan Gabriel did. I don't even know if they played, but I just mean they had a tough. Michigan's defense is very good. That's why we're talking about their Kenneth Grant, all these guys in the first round. I think Will Howard is a very good developmental quarterback, and I think with him, with Brock Bauer, how many times do we just want to see our quarterbacks tripping over themselves on 3rd and 3 and not able to get a first down? I think Will Howard can do that, and he might put the ball in harm's way, but that's why I want to give him a year to develop and then hand him the keys.
Yeah. I just refuse to believe that the NFL is not going to take a 6'5".
I'm with you.
235-pound quarterback who has a good arm, not elite arm. It's a good arm. It's I would say it's like Matt Ryan's arm, and can run this late. Now I could be wrong. And he's not getting a lot of buzz still. Like, people are still hyping up like Milroe over him, and even Jack Starr. It just doesn't make any sense to me, in my opinion. I just don't see. I just don't believe it. I don't believe the NFL would be like a 6'5", 235-pound quarterback who has good film too. It's not like he has bad film. He has some upside to him through his film.
Good touch on the ball. Good touch on the ball.
But he's not getting any buzz though. Like, even after that, people aren't talking about him that high. So
is he just lame? Is he just lame or something? Like, is he just not that cool? I don't know. Like, because I feel like, is he gonna put like mayonnaise in his coffee and everyone?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I think. See, like right now at this point in the draft, a lot of it is agents, right? Like, Jackson Dart has a great agent.
I'll say
we talked about that on the show a little bit. His agent is amazing. Like, his agent like has like the Cavender twins or whatever. Those two chicks are like they do like TikToks.
That's funny.
Yeah, those chicks. They're from Gilbert, Arizona, so it's just kind of funny. those chicks like Brock Bowers. He has the same Jackson Dart has the same agent as Brock Bowers, and some other guys. Which I mean, could be a thing why the Raiders might take him, but he has a great agent. But Will Howard, for some reason, is not getting any buzz. And you know, somebody asked me his arm strength. Yeah, he has good arm strength. I mean,
It's not
he
bad.
can make
Like,
great throws.
okay, who has a better arm, him or Shedeur Sanders?
Oh, Howard has a better arm.
Exactly. So if we're talking about taking Shedeur Sanders at 6 overall, and people are okay with it, you can't be mad about Will Howard in a top 100 pick. Like, that's all I'm saying is, like, this is a steal. If this happens, I anticipate him being in the I anticipate having to trade up from the 3rd into the 2nd to draft him.
I don't know. I just don't like. I just don't understand what happened to NFL prospects here. We got a 6'5", 235-pound guy that can move, and we're talking about him in the 3rd round. I think that's insane.
It's weird, man. And like I just feel like people pick him apart more than the other guys. Where they're like, bad game against Michigan, he puts the ball in harm's way. And I know that, like, I know he does, but like, I also think he makes some really nice tight window throws. He's able to like kind of layer. You know, he's able to put some touch on the ball, get it over DBs. Like, he's not this like he's like a really good version of Riley Leonard to me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like Riley Leonard just, look, thank you for your service, but he's just not really that good of a quarterback. And I don't know, man. This guy can play. Calvin hates me too. He hates this whole draft. Calvin's like what, he doesn't think he's better than Aiden O'Connell. He doesn't think Will Howard's is better than Aiden O'Connell. Which, I mean, hey, I like Aiden O'Connell, but damn, man.
I mean, I understand it. I understand it. You know, I still think a sneaky guy in this draft is Tyler Show, because I watched Tyler Show's film. I'm tempted to do him for the show tomorrow. I do with Matt, because he's got some like interesting film. His film is interesting because that dude has a cannon, and he's tall. He's 6'5", 222, and he is just, and he can move, and he has a monster arm. So, that's what I'm saying. This QB3 of this draft is so weird to me. I feel like the NFL has like been going off names, and I don't know if the coaches start, because right now we're off the scouts, right? And I sometimes I feel like scouts go off names more than they go off like what they really scout.
Yeah.
And because they go out and watch guys based on the names, and then here they come the coaches and like, so why don't you show me this Tyler guy? Who's this? He has a great film. You know what I mean? And then, you know, next thing you know, some guys get pushed up because of a coach. So yeah.
And like I said, to me, it's a no-brainer with Chip Kelly being here, you know, to develop him. And we'll see how much Chip Kelly likes him, but I have a hard time thinking a guy he just won a national title with, he's not a big fan of, you know. So we'll see. Like I said, I would feel pretty confident after all the stuff that happened last year about them missing out on a quarterback, but then they get Brock Bowers, then you hire Chip Kelly, and then if what my offseason said, you have Justin Fields and Will Howard. And, you know, you don't have to commit to either of those guys either for a long time. Like, you do have some flexibility there. You don't have to do a Derek Carr 9-year situation with them either. Like, you can just go after a couple of years, like, neither of them are really our guys. You have this flexibility. It's kind of like fans want to just like push the chips all in to say that they did it, so the media stops saying they haven't. And I'm always like, no, I think this is a smart way to build a team.
Yeah. Cal, we ain't taking it personal, man. Don't worry.
We're having fun.
We appreciate you disagreeing.
I like when people chirp. Like, it's fun.
Yeah, because you're not being a dick about it. Like,
no.
Some people are dicks.
Calvin, respect. I laugh. It's just. He's just no, hell no. Like, because I do that. A lot of the people I listen to, I'm like, this guy is an idiot, but I listen to him all the time. So, you know, I guess that's you have to have a love-hate relationship with all sports media you consume, or else you get bored. So.
We appreciate it. All right, my last pick. So I'm gonna go with my last pick. I went with you went corner early. I went corner late, but I went with a player who definitely fits the bill for a Chip Kelly guy, and not Chip Kelly. I mean Pete Carroll.
Guy.
And I went Azare Thomas.
Nice pick.
So Azare Thomas is 6'2", 191. He has 32-inch arms. Actually, my bad, 32.5-inch arms. Very, very, very long. You know what I mean? Like, he's a long guy. Pause. I said that. But this is supposed to be interceptions, not touchdowns, because that was something I worried about. He only has 2 career interceptions. So, the ball skills you worry about a little bit. You kind of saw it at the Senior Bowl too a little bit. Like when it came to like press coverage and on a go route, he would do really well. But when he came to like out routes, was Teddy's pointing out here, I don't think his is fluid enough. Once you saw some of the out routes and something like that, I thought he had a little bit of issue with that. But from a perspective of like a Pete Carroll type of corner, he fits that bill, right? He fits the bill, and we'll see how he ends up running. I mean, because with corners, let's keep it real. The 40-yard dash is so important for corners. That's like the biggest thing. We talk about, we watch it, and people watch it, get excited about it. But for a cornerback, like that is the ultimate drill at the combine, is the 40-yard dash. Because like the guys who run 4.3s, they get pushed up. The guys who run slow, they get pushed down, right? So let's say, Azare Thomas runs like a 4.5 or something like that. He's going to be here at the third round. Yeah. If he runs like at 61.91, he runs like a 4.4, something like that, he'll go higher. But his 40 time is going to depend where he's here at not. You know what I mean? Like where he's at with where the Raiders draft. So, but I thought like, at the Senior Bowl, he would have like 5 great reps, and then he had 2 bad reps. And then he'd finish it with like 4 great reps and then 2 bad reps. So there is some things you got to work on. And like I said, the shiftiness, you definitely don't want to play him inside. Against fade routes and things like that, he is set. He's good to go. But I do really like his upside as a corner. But people are right. Like maybe the fluidness, maybe he's not the most athletic guy in the world, but that's why I feel like in the third round it fits.
It's a third round pick. Yeah, there's third round guys are always going to have comma, but this, they're always going to have that. First round pick, even they have some flaws, but most of the time that's what's there's a big difference between first and third round picks. But and yeah, I know teams don't always view it this way, and you shouldn't, right? Players are players, but you picked a corner that maybe has starting potential with the Davante Adams pick, and I picked perhaps the future quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders with the Davante Adams pick. You can go on Up and Adams and say, man, Will Howard, he's a baller. I wish I could play with a quarterback like that. Oh, yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Good old Davante. Oh man. Davante, I miss his fits on watching his all 22 that people don't see on the TV.
Yeah, that's it's like Chip Kelly. You'd have to block, and yeah, that would be But like I said, it's going to be interesting. I mean, Trey Tucker's here because of Darren Waller was traded for a top 100 pick. It'll be interesting to see what we do with this pick, and I hope they can do something special in the third round and get a starter, like a good starter for trading away Davante Adams.
All right. So yeah. Did I miss any questions here? What questions do we got here?
Yeah.
What wideout is available? So let's play scenario. What wideout would you have taken?
I'm a big Jaden Higgins guy. Iowa State, is that his name? Higgins. I really like the way he plays. It was when I think he wasn't there by the third round, and second round felt a little too high for me. And I didn't want to pass on my guy out of South Carolina, but I do like him. Jalen Royals is interesting. Small school, Utah State guy, smaller school, coming off an injury, but he looks the part for sure. Other than that, I like Alec Iomanor a lot. He's going really high in a lot of these boards. He's out of Stanford. He's a pretty complete player though, and I think he'd do really well in a Chip Kelly scheme because he does like to block. If you go to Stanford, you have to block. Those guys are good. It's really not one of those classes. It feels like every year except this year has been a huge wide receiver class, and I just don't want to like reach for anybody in that. And we'll see what happens. That's why I wouldn't mind doing like a Cup or DK Metcalf trade for either of them, just to kind of to not like force the hand in the draft to take a wide receiver earlier than you should.
Yeah, because I don't think this wide receiver class is that exciting, in my opinion. I mean, and it all depends on what they want to do with Chip Kelly. Because I mean, if you take somebody like Tez Johnson, something like that, I think you can get those guys later on.
He's 5'9". He's a good player, but he's small, man. He's like what, 150? Yeah,
156.
Yeah,
he had a great week though, man. Nobody could guard him. So
Yeah. No, it's
even how
true.
small he was, Xavier Worthy was small, but man,
Mhm.
he was balling at the Senior
Trey
Bowl.
Trey Harris is interesting too. Trey Harris could be a back end of the first round guy just because the class is not very deep. I could see a
Mhm.
team like a kind of a playoff ready team drafting him. Um, I haven't watched a whole lot of him, but I do know, kind of his skill set and stuff. But yeah, Higgins is a guy that I really like. And if he slips to the third round, and let's say like the guys that I drafted aren't there, like Travion Henderson goes a little earlier, I do think about a Higgins there.
Who I think would be interesting would be Xavier Restrepo, because I think Restrepo is going to fall a
Yeah.
little bit. Just because I his Senior Bowl wasn't like a standout. Like I thought he would be like somebody who would just kill at the Senior Bowl, but I still think that he's still a savvy slot receiver. Which
Mhm.
the Raiders have Jacoby Myers and stuff like that, but I think Jacoby Myers can play both, right?
Right.
They don't have like a legit slot, but he's 200 pounds. He's 5'10", 200 pounds.
Yeah.
He's a bigger build of a player, right? At the slot position. I think that he would have a chance where maybe if you fell into the fourth or something like that, that's somebody you could take. Because I do think some of these wide receivers, I think they're gonna get pushed down.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, that's why I'd like to kind of go get a veteran. And when you say they don't have a true slot, like I wonder if Kelly's going to put Bowers in the slot sometimes, and have Mayer, in line or something like that. Like he does give you that kind of versatility because I wouldn't want to guard Brock Bowers just line up in a slot like as a slot corner. I don't want. You can get him free releases and stuff like that, and like you said, moving Myers around. I expect Myers to get an extension too. That's kind of a thing that nobody's really talking about. Is I actually think the way he blocks and how good he's been for this team, I think he's going to get an extension. Especially like Brady knows him, right? Like so he's just
Mhm.
might if he's cool with him, they might just pay him, and I'm not against that either. So it will be interesting, and with the Restrepo stuff, it's like I kind of want to add some size to the room if I'm going to get a receiver. I kind of want a big body to throw to on the outside. It kind of feels like what they're missing. I know you're saying slot. I kind of still think they're missing like a bigger body on the outside. Kind of want to, especially if you're maybe not having the best quarterback room. I kind of want to have a bigger catch radius for some guys, and then being able to use Trey. It'll be interesting to see the way Chip Kelly uses Trey Tucker, what he does there. But like I said, I'm the Cup or Metcalf trade to me definitely makes a lot of sense, provided that it's not too much to give up.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, you know how I feel. I don't talk about receiver because they're gonna get T Higgins. So,
God, I'm so scared. I'm so scared of paying him $30 million. He's good, but
what I'm saying.
I just want T Higgins wearing his Raiders polo on the sideline, like the hamstring once again.
Yeah. They said, bro. Somebody said, told that to Joe Burrow. Yeah. Joe Burrow's a hater, bro. He's hating. He's hating. Don't stop destiny, Joe. You can't stop
Yeah,
fate and destiny here.
Chris Godwin isn't interesting. If
Yeah,
you
yeah. It's more realistic. Chris Godwin's
for
more
your
realistic.
for your idea of the true slot, that's an interesting thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what what Chris Godwin's worth on the open market at his age with his injury history, but we shall see.
Yeah, yeah, man. We'll see. We'll see. I think wide receivers could be super interesting.
It's a weird year. It's a tough year. I just don't want to force anything there. I mean, you kind of need one, but I might go trade a later pick for a veteran that I already know is kind of good. I might do that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's just Chip Kelly used to a personnel. Not really.
No, but that's why it's saying like you could put. I know it's technically you're having a tight end on the field, but you could put Brock in the slot. It's not like the true, like the two tight end sets, like in that way. I think Brock you can use him as just a pass catcher,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that way. I hope that I understand what that does for personnel, but I just mean Chip Kelly's doesn't seem very married to anything though, right? Like he goes to a team that has a certain skill set and goes, how do I make this work? And
Mhm.
we'll see. Maybe he doesn't even like Michael Mayer. I hope he does, but maybe he doesn't even like Michael Mayer. Maybe he's on the trade block, and maybe they bring another tight end. I don't know, and maybe they draft the kid from Miami, that Arroyo guy that had a monster, is having a monster draft process. Like, there's so many things that can happen because, like I was saying at the beginning of the year, it's not a very predictable coaching staff. I feel like we've had the Patriot way, so we know they're going to draft Patriot way guys. Gruden had a it was like predictably unpredictable in a way. Like, it was kind of like, we know he's going to do something weird. So you could the normal picks, the way he's talking about Brock Bowers, he's like, he loves Brock Bowers, but I was like, you would have passed on him. It's all these random things. I kind of don't know what's going to happen with this, and it's kind of exciting because I think there's competence there, but no tendency.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting.
Rashad Bateman's a free agent.
Is he a free agent?
Yeah, is he really?
That's definitely something. It's definitely something. Yeah, something to keep an eye on.
I don't see him on here though.
Yeah, I thought he just got drafted a couple years ago, but yeah, he was a first round pick too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's gonna be great. That's why Tet McMillan at 6 is not a bad pick to me. If anybody does it, I like the way he catches the ball too. I just gets out there and attacks the ball. I like that a lot. He's far from like the Jamar Chase that you would normally see him pick early, but it's just that there's a big drop off behind him, in my opinion. So I wouldn't, if they did that, I wouldn't hate it at all. No.
Yeah, me either. All right, guys, we're out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of First Mock Draft. We got about, I think.
Comment who won the mock draft.
Who won the mock draft? Right. I think we got our most people in here. Man, we got over 700, bro.
Wow. Now the draft is fun, man. The draft is always really fun. And I think when you actually have a front office and coach that you trust,
people feel good about.
Yeah, it's actually kind of, because even last year, Telesco, we were all like, he had a good draft, but we were kind of like, oh shit, this might suck.
Let's go.
Yeah, this might stink. So yeah, I feel pretty good about John Spytek in his first draft, and we'll see. Yeah.
SimT gave us a B+. The one who picked the QB in the first round won.
All right.
Yeah, B+. All right.
You better be patient. You better be patient. You better be patient with that QB, is all I'm saying. You better not try to run his ass out of town after 2 years.
All right, guys. I got you. My bad. Super Beast missed my Super Genty at 10:20.
He's saying if the Raiders were to have traded back, the two guys I like in trade backs, or really one guy, is Malachi Starks. I like trading back and getting Malachi Starks. Genty, I just like, we talked about it. Yeah, he's really good, but like I don't like Devin Neal more than him, but I like where I would take Devin Neal more than where I would take Genty. And it's just, yeah, if they traded back and got like, some extra picks and took Genty, I would understand. I would see the vision, and I'd be, hey, Ashton Genty, go win Rookie of the Year, or something I can complain about like Brock Bowers this year, where he got hosed because he had such a good rookie year. But we'll see.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're out of here. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. We're out of here. Peace.
Yep.